Can you tell us about availability for this weekend?
Good question. You've stopped me digressing now, haven't you?
Got to get you on task.
Yeah, sorry. Dumbia is unavailable. He's got a significant hamstring strain, which is going to put him out for a number of weeks. And Nathan Byrne, obviously, we're still waiting on a second opinion on it. So we're still not decided whether it's going to be a surgical route or not. But he's out for the foreseeable at the moment.
So that basically directs me to your acquisition of Jaquil. Is that something where he's cover? Is that something where you feel like he could start? Where do you assess where he is?
It was one that I felt that we needed to move for. I felt that we needed somebody who could play on the right and left. He's got 80 odd games in the MLS under his belt at such an early age of his career. So he's got the experience that we want, and he's got the cover that we want. That's up to him now. Once he gets into he's trained his first day with us today, but won't be available for this weekend. But once he is available, then it's down to him to fight for the position.
Won't be available because you just don't want to.
I think it's something to do with Canada and
the visa issue?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Because I guess the visa is different from Canada versus the United States.
Maybe a little bit tougher to get now as well.
I thought they were going to be a 51st state. You don't need a visa.
I'm going to leave that one alone.
You need visas to go interstate now.
The way you guys have played over the early part of the season has conjured up a lot of conversation. I know you pay attention to none of it. A lot of complimentary things have been said about your club, but there have been some people who are still skeptical. What would you say to those who are still skeptical about the way you guys have started?
Continue being skeptical. It bothers me not one iota. So you keep being skeptical. I'm just happy having my group of players do what they do, looking to get better, looking to improve. As I said to you before, I don't care what people say about them.
In terms of the attack, are you encouraged that the numbers many thought Zaha would have come to Pep Biel, or is there concern that the numbers haven't been there for Zaha, at least empirically from a goals and assists perspective?
No, I expected, Pep when he came in last season to, eventually start producing the sort of numbers that he's producing. He's playing better than we probably expected as well. But we knew that there was a talent there. I have no doubts as well that Wilf's numbers will start going northwards as well. Such is the talent is he. But I have no qualms over his numbers at the moment. Was it 2 in 7, 2 goals in 7? It's 10 goals by the end of the season by my maths. But I think he'll do better than that.
How would you attribute the way Nick Scardino played last week? Do you feel like a lot of that was on his own merit, or was a lot of it also based on how much the guys kind of covered to help him as well?
I think it was a bit of both. I think he's obviously got the merit himself, with the type of player he is. I thought he looked calm, he looked relaxed playing. And I always think it helps when you play with better players as well. And the players he's got in and around him are really good players, and established players as well. So that will certainly help him as well. What
are your impressions on New England?
They've won the last couple of games. Obviously, watching them, much changed from last year. The front two now they didn't have last year. Carlos Gil is one who's still there. So much changed, and I've certainly got threat. And don't concede too many goals as well. So we have to open them up.
Well, from a sports psychology point, is it easier to motivate your team from this position, or is it easier to motivate a team that is maybe still ascending up the table, still ascending for results?
I think there's a different psychology in both. When you're the chaser, then the psychology is to get to the top, and when you're the leader, it's to make sure you maintain and stay on top of everybody. So, we've we've got our way of working, how we train, how we influence the players or try to influence them, and they've got that responsibility of then carrying that onto the pitch. They're a good group. They work hard, they're extremely hard together. And they need to keep working hard to maintain the form that they're in at the moment.
Because I think I'm observing you over your time here. I think you know when to give them the tough love. I think you know when to prop them up, but I think you also know when to challenge them as well. How many of those different moods have you maybe experienced through the young part of the season?
I think I've experienced all of them, but I think you do just as a head coach. Performances. It'd be great if performances just went like that, and it never does. There's always a little downturn somewhere, and you have to ride them waves. And I always say the way to ride them waves is to be consistent in your messaging all the time. And sometimes they need a reminder, and sometimes they just need an arm around the shoulder. Because at the end of the day, and I keep saying it, they're human beings.
Steve, continuing along that line, it's like, is that messaging always having to come from you, or is it coming from the player group itself?
The messaging will be coming from all over. We do our reviews from the game. We do our reflections from the last game. We're looking forward to the game that's coming. Players are encouraged to talk. So the messaging is coming from all different areas of the club, and that's important. That it's not just one voice. If it becomes one voice, then sometimes it can not be heard as much.
Because really holding themselves accountable, because the danger of success is potential complacency. Have you seen any?
No, I've seen no signs of complacency at all.
And so there's still a feeling that they're not there yet, that there's still something.
No, they know they're not. They know they're not there yet. There's a long way to go still in terms of our performance levels, individually and collectively. There's a lot more work to do, a lot of hard work. We keep working on what we feel that we can get better at. We spoke earlier in the season about, at the end of last season, that we wanted to create more opportunities, score more goals. I think we're up there in the top goal scorers already this year, but we didn't want to actually drop off from, conceding. We took great pride in becoming the best in the East defensively last year, so we didn't want to go away from that as well.
And just following up on Pep and Wilf, even though it's not made us showing up in the stats for Wilf, do you feel that his presence on the field and such has opened up things for Pep in certain ways, though Pep always seems to be working really good in the crowd?
Our job is to create entertainment for supporters, and that's entertainment at the moment. Patrick keeping the line long, keeping centre-backs occupied. It creates space. You look how Wilf plays, he plays high and wide. It keeps full-backs or wing-backs back, creates more space. So, how they're working together has created more space definitely for Pep.
And with Pep's success, is it more on him, or just that others are becoming more adapted to him and know to trust to make the run because he will find them? We spoke about Scardina earlier. It's a bit of both. He's coming to form. He's showing the talent that he's got, but also I think our team's getting better as well. I think our squad, if you look at our squad, it's getting better. The substitutes we put on the pitch are getting better, although we probably harmed a little bit by losing a full-back on each side over the last week or two. Because his connections with Liel and Idan were just superb last week.
Yeah, and that's a big thing about the game, and I always talk to them about the connections they have on the pitch with the players that they're playing against. Start to understand each other's game, what they want, talk to them. Monday morning, come in and sit down and go through the clips and ask why he gave you a ball in a certain way, and tell him how you wanted to receive the ball, and that's how you build connections.
I'd love to sit in on that.
Yeah.
Getting back to Wilf, when he was brought in, there was a lot of talk, this is an offensive guy, this is, and while the numbers aren't explosive, kind of to Steve's point, is he almost, when he isn't contributing in the goals or even assists category, are you still finding him to be a very effective weapon for your final third?
I am, definitely. I mean, his goal scoring, his assists, it's not quite news of the world at the moment, but what he is doing is he's creating opportunities for others. I thought we missed him a couple of times on Saturday last week where he probably had a tap in pretty much, and I think first minute Pep could have squared it to him and he had no one on him, and then Liel could have squared onto him as well and he had no one on him. I think we'll eventually start seeing them passes and making it easier for him. He certainly deserved the goal last week. But sorry?
He threatened the goal.
Yeah, he threatened it a number of times. The goalkeeper's made a couple of good saves from him as well. But you know what he does bring is you know what you're going to get from him, or we know what we're going to get from him, and you know he is starting to find his rhythm.
With Nathan being out for the foreseeable future, I know that you've got other guys that are fighting for you know minutes and that sort of thing. But what do you lose with him not being out there?
Biggest thing is his experience, his know-how. You know, he's a very good 1v1 defender. Defensively, he's made us stronger over the last year, so we'll miss that. But he also, you know, gives somebody else an opportunity now to you know fill his boots, and you know Nick Scardina's got that opportunity now, and you know hopefully he can carry that on.
Being the head coach of this group, is it, you know, we've talked about depth on this team a lot this year, and this is one of those instances where a key guy is going to have to be, you know, accounted for in terms of that depth. I mean, how fortunate do you feel about having what you have?
Yeah, I mean, I think throughout a season you go through a lot of blows. So you know, you're fortunate to go through a season without any injuries that's going to take a major player out of a team. You know, unfortunately, that's done that with us. But you know, we were happy to give Nick Scardina a chance. And listen, he's only had one game, so we're very much aware of that, and you know, we're helping him. And he came off with cramp after 65 minutes, so we're aware of that as well. You know, so there might have to be another change, you know, along 70 minutes. You know, if he cramps up again. So we're working with him. Our performance team are working with him, and you know, hopefully he can, as I say, go and grab that position.
And finally, for me, yourself and Andrew named to the team of the match day on Monday. I'm not going to talk about your coaching and why you're deserving of that, but about Andrew and his 50th appearance and the growth that he's made since you got here.
Yeah, there's not many people I know who can score a goal off the back of the head without actually watching it in. But we'll certainly take it, and he will take it because he's deserved a goal. But no, he's shown great maturity and great growth over the last 14, 15 months since I've been here, and he's getting better and better. And I'm sure there'll be a few eyes from the national team looking at him as well.
Carol?
I guess he's got to work on his celebration game for a bit.
I didn't really see this celebration. Was it not very
He
good?
just kind of jumped up.
Yeah, he doesn't score many.
Yeah. Scardina, with a young player, I know you usually like it. You tell him to just play within yourself. Do you? What is his strength? What is his game?
He's a converted wide player, so we know he can attack, and I think you saw that with the first goal. He went on the overlap, and he can certainly go and do that. But I really liked the use of the ball last week. He was really calm on the ball. He never gave it away too much, and he just kept the game simple. And I think that's going to be the key to it.
And with Nathan, I mean, the fact that you're not sending him to surgery today means it must be a tough decision because.
Yeah, I mean, listen. At 32 years old, if somebody's saying to me that they want to go into my neck, I'd actually want to know the reasons why. So I think we've got to make sure that we explore all possibilities first, to find out what's best for him.
Because 6 to 7 weeks almost seems conservative.
Yeah.
For major surgery.
Yeah.
In the middle of the season.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're looking at disc replacement, which might put it further than 6 to 7 weeks. So. But we'll be advised by obviously the medical department.
Thank you.
No worries.
Going back to Pep, but I wanted to talk about the defensive side. I mean, we saw that against Nashville out wide. We saw that at times against San Diego center backs. Was that something you knew that he had in his game when you brought him here, or something maybe he's worked on since he's been here?
In terms of who, sorry?
Just like his how good he is defensively.
Oh, sorry, Pep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Pep's got
Sorry.
no, yeah, Pep's got a great understanding of the game.
Okay.
He understands where to go, how to press, when to press. You know, and I put that to his upbringing. You know, where he's come from. He learnt the game on the streets. I think it was Mallorca, wasn't it? He's from Mallorca, isn't he? Yeah. You know, he's played street football. He's grown up in the academy systems in Spain, and then, you know, gone through Europe. So his understanding of the game is really good, and he knows when and where to press. I think it helps the way we set up, you know, in a 4-4-2 with him and Patrick, and they understand the triggers.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that because I feel like we saw it even more against San Diego, and maybe that was like even more part of your game plan with their center backs. But with that press, what are you hoping that opens up for Ajman if BL wins it high?
Yeah, I think because the expansive teams who want to play out from the back and play through the lines, they're always going to be most open when they're playing out. So once we win that ball back, then it opens up spaces for Patrick to go into. This weekend will be a different game. San Diego like to play through their sixes, whereas what I've seen so far is they will, on Saturday, New England will be prepared to play through, but they've got two players up front. They're prepared to go the other side as well of you and play in behind you. So we have to be aware of both.
Okay. And then Ajman, I mean, we saw him connect passes. He would drop in the midfield. I think he did a good job of like being a little more diverse than maybe we've seen at points in this season. So, like, what excited you maybe about that specific performance? Did he go into that game like wanting to maybe do that a little bit more?
I think he still looked. The thing that I liked was he was still confident. You know, despite, you know, I think somebody said to me he'd gone cold with one goal in the first 7 or something, but he still looked confident to me, and that's a good sign that, you know, he wants more touches in the game. And I said to him, I want less touches in the game, but more goal involvements. You know, and I want him to look in behind a lot more, because that's where I think he's a massive threat against opposition, as we saw last week with the penalty and the red card.
Totally. Last one for me. I know you brought in Williamson, and a big piece for him was like the technical side of the game. Bronico has now started 7 matches, and after Williamson came in, was Bronico like knowing he needed to get better technically? I feel like we've seen him grow technically, knowing that Williamson is like right in that spot. What is that like for you?
I mean, I think Bronico's a really good foil for Westy. You know, when we play 2 6s, I think, you know, he covers a lot. The two of them do a lot of leg work. You know, to help cover our centre backs really well and stop them getting having to chase an awful lot of balls behind. Eric's come as an 8/10, so, you know, I can always put him there for Pep. You know, we can sometimes change him for Bronico as well. I probably don't see him as a Westwood type, but he gives. I've been happy with his 2 last performances when he's come off the bench. Yeah, Williamson. I think he's looked really good. He's looked really composed on the ball. You know, and he gives us something extra, but he's had to get used to how we play and what we do.
Okay, and then, I mean, I know we saw Tim against San Diego, but how is he feeling? He feeling good?
Yeah, no, he's feeling good.
Okay.
He's overcome the chest problem that he had, which was really good, and you know, came on the pitch after 40 minutes, and, you know, amazing substitution because we created a goal straight from him.
Yeah, right.
He didn't touch the ball though.
That's funny. Yeah. Cool, thank you.
Yeah, no,
We'll go to Jorge, then Sam.
Hey, Dean, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good, good. I wanted to ask you, given that there's a home game this weekend, after that you've got 4 away games, including, see how important it is, you know, making sure you get a positive result this weekend.
It doesn't matter if we've got 22 away games following it. It's always important, the home results and the home performances, because, you know, our supporters demand that, and we demand that of ourselves as well. It's nice having a perfect record at the moment, and it'd be great to keep continuing that and growing that. You know, so our home performances at the moment have been good, and we need to continue that.
Nice. And then coming up in May as well, you'll have 8 matches, potentially 9. How are you feeling about the depth of the squad, given that you have Nathan Byrne out and Doobie out as well?
Well, it's been a bit of pill for my wife to swallow, because she's flying back over here for a couple of months, and she's not going to see much of me having 8 away games or a number of away games in May. Listen, it's one of them things that we're going to have to manage now. All of a sudden, midweek games coming up. We've got the US Open Cup. So I think we've got Orlando away and somebody else. So there's a load of games coming up midweek, and we're going to have to manage how we do things to make sure we're ready for each game.
Nice. And then the last one, which I'd say is the most important question. I got a chance to interview Jamie yesterday. I asked him who was the better golfer, you or him, and he said, since the last round, it's him. I wanted to see if we could confirm or deny that.
No, it was. He beat me the other day, but I played left-handed.
Awesome. Thank you.
No worries, thanks.
Go ahead, Sam.
Hey everybody, let's ask a lot of Jamie questions today. As you may have heard, Jamie Vardy announced that he was leaving Leicester City this morning, and just wanted to talk about your experience working with Jamie.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I only spent 8 games, even less weeks, I think 7 weeks working with him, but what a fantastic person and player to work with. I think probably Leicester's most important player that's ever played there. And he's given 13 years of unbelievable service, and during that time they've won the Premier League, won the FA Cup, won the Charity Shield as well. So great credit goes to him and the goals that he's scored. I was looking at a list the other day, and I think he made his Premier League debut at 27 years old, and in that time he's outscored people like Ronaldo, Ruud van Nistelrooy, players like that, which just shows you the level of calibre he's been at.
With Charlotte FC going to the Open Cup, I know that gets ahead of our game this weekend, but wanted to know if you've been involved in any conversations about getting a large contingent of Charlotte FC fans there.
No, I haven't been involved in anything, and I don't need to, because I know our fans and they will travel, that's for sure.
So far this season, there's more and more accolades and more attention coming from the press that covers MLS. One team of the year so far included both Pep and Adilson. Do you see any chance of this going to your players' heads before they've gotten the job done?
No, I don't, and I hope not anyway. My media outlet is BBC News and Sport, and they don't cover too much of the MLS at the moment, so I don't see too much of that. I see our wonderful content teams, what they put out, and get voting for Carolina Love on the Shorty Awards, because that was an unbelievable production that they put out there. But no, it won't go to their heads. They're a level-headed bunch, and they know we're 9 games into a season. There's a long way to go. It's been a good start, but there's so much more that we can do.
Obviously there's another prominent Charlotte defender, made a recovery from a disc injury. Has anybody talked to Clay Dimmick from the Independents about how I believe he was the first professional player ever to come back from a 2-disc neck
Who's
injury.
that, sorry? Who's that?
Charlotte Independent.
Clay's captain for the Independents outside.
I have no idea who he is, sorry. No, I wouldn't know how to get in touch with him, Sam, to be honest.
He and Brandt are good friends.
Oh, are they?
worries.
Yeah, no problem.
And then I apologize if this was asked while I was in your home country for a week. Did you have a chance to talk to your Jamie about his first MLS Next Pro goal?
Yes, I was at the game. I believe he posted it about 25 times after as well, so he'll class it as a left foot volley, but it was a left foot pass back into an area that went through a few legs. So he doesn't get much credit off me, but no, I was pleased to see him score the goal. And he's 100% so far on penalties as well, so hopefully that can continue as well.
And I had one more. Obviously with the depth at on the back line, needing some support, is there anybody from Legacy that you've looked at elevating or giving a chance to get their first debut, aside from Scardina, of course?
No, I mean, we've had a few of them training with us. Jack Neely's trained with us a number of times. excuse me, Jamie Smith has actually trained with us a few times as well. So we're having a look regularly at the legacy players to see if they can join us for this season. But Gary's doing a really good job with them. I'm watching all their games. I think their results haven't been great so far, but they've had control in every game so far, which is really pleasing to see, because that's one of the things they'll need to have when they step up to us. I think the next part of it is them scoring goals as well.
Does that have anything to do with Westy being on the sidelines for Crown Legacy at least once or twice?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but no, we're really pleased with Gary Dicker and his coaching ability and what he's teaching the young lads so far. So, when they come and join in with us, they've got an armoury of tactical and technical knowledge.
Well, Coach, happy St. George's Day, either belated or in advance.
You're an English rose. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
We got time for two more. We'll go back here to Willie.
Okay. Do you have a status update on Brandon Cambridge and Nympha by chance?
So Nympha's back walking now. I think he's in the Ultra G running. So his operation that he's had has gone really, really well. Brandon Cambridge came back from his hamstring injury, but unfortunately in training last week felt his calf. So he's probably out for another week or two with that.
And are there any players that you have seen in practice that we haven't seen on the pitch that are impressing you?
What, in training?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few of the boys. I mean, Nicholas Petkovic he's just coming back into training now. He's come back from his thigh injury, so give him the chance. I've been happy with Tiger Smalls as well. I thought he's looked really good in training. I think he's looked good when he came on the pitch against Montreal a couple of weeks ago. Yuri Tavares, he's pushing as well. So there's a number of players at the moment who are pushing.
Thank you.
Willie.
Will you need to add from either the legacy or the homegrown to try and cover for Marshall Rudder who's not here this weekend, so you're not shorthanded at the back, or do you feel confident in Tuiloma and Vargas to handle that?
Yeah, no, we've got Tuiloma, we've got Vargas as well. I've got Jibril, who's played in a back three as well before. So we've got a number of different options that we can use.
And you mentioned the content team. Your new contract apparently had the content team getting some wine with clean sheets. Have they gotten that yet?
I don't know. Has Dave paid up for that yet? I actually said to Dave the other day, Mr. Tepper, that I would keep trying to embarrass him into getting some wine for everybody, and he said, "My skin's thick enough. You won't embarrass me."